country.
Good to have you with us. Barack Obama has scrapped talks, as you would know, with the Filipino president after he called him a son of a horse stroke, son of a bitch. Translations have varied. Either way, it did not go down well, as you would imagine. Duterte has since backtracked on the comments, saying they weren't meant to be a personal attack. And so often, calling someone that is not a personal attack. It is, though, just another example of the Filipino leaders shooting from the hip. Should we be concerned about where this world leader is going and the license he is giving himself? Joining me now is international relations expert Robert Patman. Robert, morning to you.
Good morning, Paul.
Thank you so much for joining us. You know, the funny thing is,
pleasure.
we talk about Duterte, and I've talked about him before, and these extraordinary powers he's given himself, the crimes against humanity that is metering out, and to a certain extent, you know, I think we might brush them under the carpet to a degree in our minds because we think, well, he's dealing with a drug issue, he's dealing with drug criminals. But of course, this is just the beginning of his powers that he's given himself potentially, isn't it?
Yes, and it was this conversation that President Obama signalled that he wanted to have with President Duterte about extrajudicial killings that may have prompted the President of the Philippines to try and preempt that conversation by uttering, you know, one of his daily obscenities. And in a sense, he ended up having to apologise for swearing at the president rather than actually had to answer serious questions about a campaign, Paul, that's killed 2,400 people since he's been in power at the end of June of this year. And amongst those people executed include children, as well as a number of other innocent people. And so the concerns that obviously President Obama and other human rights organisations have is that this vigilante violence has the potential to spill over in some sort of civil war if it carries on like this.
You know, in a funny sort of way, though, he has come out the winner in this, hasn't he? Because he now, as you say, does not have to sit down with the President of the United States and answer what would be very tricky questions.
Well, I would hesitate to call him the winner. He's had to try and row back those comments. He also did actually acknowledge that he'd been quite rude to the most powerful politician in the world. So, I mean, I'm not sure he's a winner. I think the other thing is, as well as being a distraction from his record of extrajudicial killings, he's also created something of a diplomatic opening with China, because it's no secret that China was very upset about the ruling of the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague, which ruled in the Philippines' favour. The Philippines, this wasn't President Duterte who did this, but a previous president, President Aquino, took China to the court in The Hague over the dispute over the South China Seas. And now this has given an opportunity for Duterte to improve relations with China, and he started this process before this incident. So there may be some diplomatic footwork in play here, Paul.
All right. Do you believe that it was right for Obama to cancel this meeting?
Absolutely. I think Obama's handled this well. You know, it would have been easy to overreact to this, but I think Mr. Obama, he was measured. He said, look, the guy engages in colourful language. He sort of shrugged his shoulders. I think that Obama's reaction has actually left President Duterte diminished. He could have actually gone in for a sort of tit-for-tat action. I mean, he's cancelled the meeting. Well, no, he could have, you know, overdone it.
Domestically, it doesn't look good for him because he obviously wants to come across as a strong man, and so domestically, it's come across very much as a back down from him. Very quickly on this, the reason that I think we should be shining a light on this globally is because at the moment, what we're talking about are government executions without any judicial proceedings. As you say, 2,000 people, some of them children. The reason I think we need to shine a light on it is I could imagine in years to come us looking back and saying, why the hell didn't we do something about this guy when we realise we're dealing with a Pol Pot kind of person? Yes,
and I think it's important that people who are elected are held to account for what they're doing. And I think that this has the potential. The other thing here is, Paul, that there is the real potential to become an authoritarian leader because, you know, under the name of the drug war, he could be also assassinating or executing political rivals.
Of course he could. Of course he could. Because there are no checks and balances. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Dictatorship on the way. Robert Patman, thank you very much for joining us, international relations expert. And that is why we need to be keeping the spotlight on this guy. And I mean, how can he be a world leader? It is just extraordinary.